Welcome back. In this episode, Trump reacts to Democrats' unthinkable move as they play the victim as usual. Caroline Levitt blows apart a CBS reporter's narrative about Trump's response to Dems calling on armed forces to disobey Trump's orders. And Democrats play the victim card while doing their best to frame Trump as an authoritarian because he spells out the consequences of sedition. Then we're going to listen to Speaker Johnson call out the Democrats for their seditious actions. You can send your reactions in the chat as we break down these stories. I will do my best to read them all. And don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe, and share this video. Let's get started with our first story.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris Deluzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow.
I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
and the intelligence community
who take risks each day
to keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
and intelligence community professionals
against American citizens.
Like us. You all swore an oath
to protect and defend this Constitution.
And right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
but from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law
or our Constitution.
We know this is hard
and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
the Army,
or Navy,
the Air Force,
your vigilance is critical.
And know that we have your back.
Because now, more than ever,
the American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws,
our Constitution,
and who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
The video plays with swelling patriotic music and a tense background to the music, and giving that dramatic feel of we're in danger of authoritarianism. Yeah, right. So the Democrats did this video, and right now there's a massive blowback, because President Trump called them out and said, look, you guys are encouraging sedition and it is punishable by death. And then, right on cue, they jump in front of the camera. Oh, we're the victims. But we're going to get to that in a bit. Caroline Levitt was holding a press conference, and one of the reporters basically confronted her with President Trump's statements. And here's her response.
President Trump accused 6 Democratic lawmakers of seditious behavior punishable by death. Just to be clear, does the president want to execute members of Congress?
No. Let's be clear about what the president is responding to, because many in this room want to talk about the president's response, but not what brought the president to responding in this way. You have sitting members of the United States Congress who conspired together to orchestrate a video message to members of the United States military, to active duty service members, to members of the national security apparatus, encouraging them to defy the president's lawful orders.
Now, it's always interesting to watch the reaction of the press and the reaction of people who are basically diehard supporters of the Democrat Party. There's always a disproportional focus on the reaction to the actions of the Democrats. The Democrats do or say something, and then the focus usually is always on the reaction. President Trump simply said, this is an encouragement to sedition, and it is usually punishable by death. He just said that, and suddenly the focus is only on, oh, the president wants to kill people. Look, it takes a degree of dishonesty to rush to that conclusion, on the face of just President Trump's reaction to this video.
Sanctity of our military rests on the chain of command. And if that chain of command is broken, it can lead to people getting killed. It can lead to chaos. And that's what these members of Congress who swore an oath to abide by the Constitution are essentially encouraging. We have 1.3 active duty service members in this country. And if they hear this radical message from sitting members of Congress, that could inspire chaos, and it could incite violence, and it certainly could disrupt the chain of command. These 3 members of Congress, I will also add, knew exactly what they were doing. You look at Alyssa Slotkin. She's a former member of the CIA. Mark Kelly was a captain in the U.S. Navy. Maggie Goodlander was a naval officer, and notably, she is also the wife of Joe Biden's national security former advisor, Jake Sullivan.
It's very important to understand what she's pointing out, because the reactions or the responses are going to range from President Trump is attacking us. Then when the indictments start coming down, it's going to switch to we didn't really know that that was happening. And then it's going to devolve into, we're ignorant. These are people who have served in the military. They know the consequences of this kind of action, but they are counting on the Democrat Party to run cover for them and for the mainstream media to do what this journalist just did in the press pool.
And so these members knew what they were doing. They were leading into their credentials as former members of our military, as veterans, as former members of the national security apparatus to signal to people serving under this commander-in-chief, Donald Trump, that you can defy him and you can betray your oath of office. That is a very, very dangerous message, and it perhaps is punishable by law. I'm not a lawyer. I'll leave that to the Department of Justice and the Department of War to decide.
But the president has
Chris,
frequently, but Caroline, can I just follow up? The president and the vice president, for that matter, have accused the other side of encouraging political violence. Isn't that exactly what the president is doing when he says that members of Congress should be killed?
So when members of the press do this, okay, it really irritates me because it's as if these accusations are coming from left field. We've seen them on the House floor. We've seen them on the campaign trail. We've seen them making speeches. We've seen them on TV appearances and on podcast appearances, saying things that basically are a call to arms or a call to violence against Republicans or against people who don't vote their way. And then when they are called out on it, the members of the press call it an accusation. There's evidence that they did, and you and I have seen those videos. So when they do this, it's really irritating.
Why aren't you talking about what these members of Congress are doing to encourage
Exactly.
and incite violence? They are literally saying to 1.3 million active duty service members not to defy the chain of command, not to follow lawful orders. Every single
can refuse an illegal order, which
but
is
they are
illegal
but
from
they're
military
suggesting, Nancy, that the president has given illegal orders, which he has not.
Yep.
Every single order that is given to this United States military by this commander-in-chief and through this chain of command, through the Secretary of War, is lawful. And the courts have proven that. This administration has an unparalleled record at the Supreme Court because we are following the laws. We don't defy court orders. We do things by the books. And to suggest and encourage that active duty service members defy the chain of command is a very dangerous thing for sitting members of Congress to do. And they should be held accountable. And that's what the president wants to see.
So just let me know what you think about this reaction from the press. Now, because of this kind of reaction to the press, we see videos being released by these representatives who were on that video. Representative Chrissy Houlihan basically did a video, okay? Well, of course, they're all aware of the consequences, and now they're doing follow-up videos trying to flip the switch to say, yeah, it isn't us. We were only stating the obvious that you don't have to follow unjust orders. But the framing of the videos are telling the military that President Trump has already been given illegal orders because they said something about him pitching uniformed men and women against American citizens. So the framing already points in that direction. And you know what? They think you're stupid. They think you're stupid. They think that they can do something as egregious as that, turn around and say, oh, well, that's not what we were doing. And then you believe them. And there are lots of Democrats who are out there who will believe them. Remember my sports and my sports analogy, where if your team cheats to win, yay, we won. Then if the other team cheats to win, oh, they broke the law. That's basically what we're seeing in politics today. Let's watch Chrissy Houlihan, okay, start playing the victim card, because right on cue, they've begun releasing videos. We're going to watch a couple of these videos and then we're going to react to them. Let me know your thoughts in the chat. All right, keep your thoughts coming in the chat.
Earlier today, the President of the United States used his platform to call for my arrest and even to threaten violence against me, specifically death by hanging. Why? Because I joined 5 other duly elected members of Congress who have served in the military or in intelligence.
So she's accusing President Trump of saying something he didn't say. All right. President Trump said this is sedition, and I think it's punishable by death. That's what he says. He is simply saying this is the crime, and this is usually the consequence. And now they are putting words in his mouth.
Services in recording a simple message to our armed forces. Our message to them was, remember your oath, follow lawful orders, refuse unlawful ones, uphold the Constitution above all else. Each of us who has participated has previously served this nation with honor, and the fact that the President responded with threats is really chilling, and it reveals far more about his authoritarian instincts than it does about anything that we said. In fact, he made our case for us. But let me be clear about something else. Political intimidation and threats of violence are not leadership, and they will not silence those of us who believe in the rule of law and who actually respect our military. I stand proudly with my colleagues. And to the men and women who are currently serving, your oath is to the Constitution, not to any individual. Federal law, international law, and the Uniform Code of Military Justice guide you in your duty. We stand with you, and we have your back.
Well done, Chrissy. Thank you for letting us know that you are doubling down. Look, this story is going to mushroom and become something more, because it is going to become the authoritarian is trying to silence our free speech. Oh, look, he's against us because we said something that is obvious, that uniformed men and women don't have to obey unlawful orders. Representative or Senator Chris Murphy, is angry that President Trump wants people who commit sedition to now be tried for that. And if you don't want to be prosecuted for telling the U.S. military to disobey orders, don't tell the U.S. military to disobey orders. It's a very simple thing. Okay, you see these asinine videos of people complaining when people disobey the laws and are being brought to book, and they're like, oh, it's racism, or it's one of these, the Democrat Party is essentially, they are the party of people who simply play victim. As soon as they do something wrong and they're called out, they're now the victim. So let's watch Senator Chris Murphy, okay, on his victim tour.
The President of the United States just called for Democratic members of Congress to be executed.
So I am so glad that his editors owned him. This is the statement that President Trump made. He says, the crime, seditious behavior. The punishment, punishable by death. It's a very simple thing. How is it hard for people to misunderstand? But do you know what? They will misunderstand it because these people are experts at framing. You can see how he looks. He looks like someone who is under. They're all actors. Okay, remember the WWE? It's all an act. Okay, so just don't take them seriously. Okay, what they did basically is calling on the military to disobey orders from the chain of command. These people are doing something dangerous. They are being called out for it. And you know what? Whether this is a Republican or a Democrat thing, you need to tell the truth. Okay, let's stop this partisan nonsense. if somebody on the left or on the right, does something wrong, tell the truth. It's as simple as that. How hard can it be? Okay, President Trump says seditious behavior punishable by death, and he says he's calling for my death. You guys committed a crime, for crying out loud. He's not targeting you. He's saying you guys did something wrong. Here's the punishment for it. All right, please keep the chats coming. I'm going to respond to the chat. I just want to go through these videos, and then we will go through your chat. I see your chat messages. Please keep them coming.
This is not normal. We cannot allow this to feel normal.
What is not normal is sitting Congress people inspiring sedition. That's what's not normal. This mustn't be made normal. But you know what? The Democrats have normalized it. And now they're making it look like the president's calling for accountability is not normal.
As far as I know, has never happened before in the history of the country. Every Democratic member of the Senate and the House, their life is in jeopardy right now, especially those specifically targeted by this social media post. Democratic senators and House members who were simply saying that no member of the military should act illegally or in violation of the Constitution.
You guys said that the sitting president already issued illegal orders because he's pitting uniformed men and women against American citizens. You said that in the video. The video is there for all to see. So you guys can't even lie about it anymore.
The President of the United States just called for members of Congress to be executed. If you are a person of influence in this country, maybe it's time to pick a fucking side.
Throw in the profanity. You know this thing that they've started doing with, I want to show you how outraged I am because I'm using profanity. I don't use profanity on my show, but you can tell when I am incensed. All right. These guys are children. They are immature. They are manipulative. They are leading the conversation into a very dark place. And you know what? When the consequences come down the pipe, it's going to be, I suspect it's going to turn into a constitutional crisis. Why? Because the Democrats in the House and Senate are going to line up behind these extremists. That's what they are, because you can't do what they did and then be a moderate. You can't go on camera, record a hit video and call on the military. You're essentially calling for a coup. Okay, you're essentially can we please stop playing these games and call it what it is? All right, let's call it what it is, please. No more games. All right, they are wearing a suit. They are Caucasian. They live in the United States of America. You guys don't do coups. But those of us who live in third world countries or who have lived in third world countries know what coups are like. Asking the military to disobey direct orders from the chain of command is basically the same thing as asking for a coup.
If you are a Republican in Congress, if you are a Republican governor, maybe it's time to draw a line in the sand and say that under no circumstances should the President of the United States be calling on his political opposition to be hanged.
I would also say on no account should a Democrat or Republican be calling for a coup to be staged against a sitting president, whether Republican or Democrat. You're playing with fire, you get burned, and then you play the victim.
We are at a very dangerous moment right now. The president is engaged in the wholesale.
Who created it? You guys did.
Endorsement. And
did he just say incitement? Did he just say incitement? Isn't that what they're doing? Please let me know your thoughts in the chat, because I'm holding back. Okay, if you can't tell, I'm holding back. I'm holding back. Well, let me know your thoughts in the chat. I want to know what you think.
Rationalization of political violence in this country. This is a very slippery slope that we are on. This is a moment for people to step up, for Republicans to step up, for business leaders to step up. Anybody who has a voice or a soapbox in this country needs to draw a line in the sand and say that it is not acceptable for the President of the United States to call on the murder of his political opposition.
You see, the use of these words, conflating the situation, right? If you're intelligent and honest, you know that what he just did was just strung together a bunch of nonsense, told lies against the sitting president, lied about what they did, and is encouraging other people to support him. Stephen Miller, basically, of course, look, I enjoy watching Stephen Miller's takes on things. I enjoy it. And here's what he said about what the Democrats essentially did. And I like the way he breaks these things down in very clear terms. That's why many people don't like him, because he is blunt, but he frames the conversations intelligently.
Look, there is nothing graver that you could possibly say as a United States Senator than encouraging, urging, directing members of the armed forces of the United States or the clandestine services of the United States to defy their president, defy their chain of command, defy their superiors. To say such a thing would require you to have and to present to the nation some extraordinary scandal beyond even our wildest imagination, which of course they don't have, because every single thing that this president has done has been not only lawful, but has been repairing and reversing the unlawful and unconstitutional behavior of the previous administration, which opened our nation's borders up to millions of illegal aliens and foreign terrorists and gang leaders and cartel operatives and everyone else threatening peace, safety, and public order in the United States. So this conduct by these lawmakers is a direct attack on this republic. But there's an even deeper issue here that we have to understand. The Democrat Party has reached a point of extremism where the only thing that they believe is legitimate are the things that keep them in power and that keep their policies in effect no matter the will of the public. So, for example, if President Trump orders an illegal alien deported, they would have their district court judges block that deportation. But if they're in power, what will they do? End the filibuster, stack the Supreme Court, appoint 10 radical loyalists.
So that was Stephen Miller. Now I'm going to be jumping into the chat to read your messages. Right. So let's start. Now, please keep the messages coming. All right. Keep the messages coming. I will get to your messages in the chat. Canary King says this is a really delicate situation. On the one hand, they are suggesting Trump isn't legitimate, which goes against the voters' wishes. He wouldn't. He won the mandate. I think that's what you're trying to say. He won the mandate. Respect the man. But they won't. In the first term, it was clear to everyone that they neutered his first term, he was recommended people to put on his cabinet who sabotaged his administration from within. He wasn't able to do much. So we all know that happened. They won't respect him. He's an outsider. They don't like the fact that he has upset the apple cart, and they're going to continue to resist him. More comments from Canary King. On the other hand, I'm an advocate for free speech. This is not free speech. This is not free speech. All right. Free speech is, I don't like this thing. Encouraging someone to break the law is not free speech. Okay? Encouraging someone. Now, most of these people in the Senate understand the law. Most of them, or at least a handful of them. And usually, before they release these videos, the videos are crafted in a way that allows them to skirt the law. Look, even if this thing goes to court, it's going to be hit or miss. So I don't think they're going to actually be indicted for sedition. I'm not sure about that, because they frame these things carefully so that if there is a call for accountability, They can easily do what they're doing now with these crazy videos that they're releasing, saying, we were only telling the military, that they have recourse. They can defy the orders of the commander-in-chief if they deem it unlawful. That's what they're doing. So that when someone says, I'm not doing it, and they're court-martialed, they're going to simply say, I don't think this is lawful. And then the Democrats have told them, we have your back. If you defy this president, the Democrat Party will back you up. That's what they're saying. And so the framing of the messaging essentially tells them, you can engage in a coup. We're going to back you up. And then when you study the way the thing is framed, oh no, they didn't really say that. They were simply stating that the people in uniform have recourse. They can choose to disobey an unlawful, command. And essentially, what is an unlawful command? Is it unlawful simply because the Democrats say it's unlawful? That's where they're going with this. Oh, sorry, I didn't finish the read. But they may end up misleading people. That is the intention. That is the intention. Democrats are great at winning the war on the war of sentiment. It's really all about sentiment, how you feel, not about what's on the books. It's how you feel. And when the laws on the books are being carried out, it's now an issue of, oh my goodness, you're not compassionate, you're harsh, and so on. It's insane, but that's basically the game that they play. Janet Maisel, okay, I don't know how to pronounce it. I hope I got it right. Janet says, they are disgusting deep state operatives, as if Trump would give illegal orders. They have used federal judges, activist federal judges, to block his mandate, deporting illegal immigrants, sending the National Guard to deal with crime in blue cities, and they have blocked him at every turn with activist federal judges. And then when it goes to the Supreme Court says he is well within his rights as the commander-in-chief and as the head of the executive to do this. Mainstream media will never carry those rulings. And when they do carry them, it's like, oh, the Supreme Court is doing the bidding of Trump. It's amazing. Do you know what, guys? I have decided that I'm going to take a course on the U.S. Constitution. I decided that today. I'm just letting you know, because when the next 4 years, we're going to have a lot of news coming out about the Constitution. I'm going to take a course on the Constitution. I'm going to learn about the Constitution so that whenever these clowns, okay, I think I can call them clowns. It doesn't feel like I'm insulting them. All right, they're actors, but right now they're acting like clowns. So I would call them clowns. If I feel like I did the wrong thing, then I'll come back and retract. But they're clowns. When they step up to claim that something that is constitutional is unconstitutional, I want to be able to tell what is, okay? Because I'm talking about this a lot, and I don't want to misinform you. And Janet says again, I think they are against stopping the narco-terrorists and stopping deportations of illegals. These mandates are not illegal. They are not illegal. Again, they are experts in framing. They are experts in framing. Janet, thank you for the messages. Please keep them coming. We're going to go to the next segment of this live stream, and we're going to look at some more cope on their part. They're still sending out messaging claiming that they are the victims. And then we're going to look at the coverage. Someone broke down each segment of the video to actually explain what they did, with trying to make sure that the framing kind of gave them some kind of cover, but it's really obvious when you think for yourself and know what they're actually trying to do. If you have children and your children begin to invent new ways of lying, you can tell when they're trying to mislead you. All right. They don't want to lie, but they are misleading you. They're like, oh, but I didn't tell a lie. All right. I have a teenager. I have a son. He's as tall as I am, almost as tall as I am. And when you catch him on something, like he's meant to be doing his homework and he's opening new tabs to watch anime, and you tell him, look, dude, I can see you're watching something else. And then he's like, no, I was doing my homework. The tabs happened to be open. I'm like, I was born at night, but not last night. Okay. So that's what they do. Okay. Canary King is celebrating my statement of taking the course. Take the course. I will. Janet says, PragerU and Hillsdale have good courses. I actually plan on taking the one from Hillsdale. I have Hillsdale in mind. They've been doing some really good work. If you go to the official YouTube channel of the White House, they've done some great videos on the history of the United States and a few other things, great videos. And the fact that they're a Christian college encourages me. And I want to, take that course. I will be registering for it right after this live stream. So I'll let you know how it goes. And you guys hold me accountable. Okay. I want to finish the course. I want to show you my certificate of completion to let you know I'm done. But it's not a thing of being one and done. I want to really understand the Constitution, because I respect the United States Constitution. I am not ruled or governed by it, but I respect it. It's been able to put together the greatest country in the world. I want to understand what makes it tick. And I'll take that course. You guys, please keep me accountable, hold me accountable. Right. So let's go on to the next video. Now, for those of you who are watching, please also, if you can, go over to Hillsdale and take that course. Everyone should know about the Constitution. Everyone should know about the Constitution. Now, this guy calls for a military coup against the United States, which is sedition. Everyone knows it. You know it. I know it. But now he's playing the victim. He needs to be arrested immediately. Some people feel that way. Okay, so let me know in the chat if you feel that way.
Luzio here. Today, Donald Trump called for my death. Called for the arrest and the death of me and several of my colleagues, all who've either worn the uniform or served intelligence services. He didn't want to hear a basic lesson that we know about our Constitution, about the oath we all take when we serve, whether in Congress or your first day out of boot camp. These are bedrock principles in our country, that you follow lawful orders, that the oath to the Constitution, the loyalty to the Constitution comes above all. I'm not going to be intimidated. I'm not going to be deterred from my duty to represent the people who sent me to Congress and to uphold my oath to the Constitution. Don't give up the ship.
They all have the same scriptwriter. You're going to hear this phrase, don't give up the ship, again, okay, from another video that we're going to be looking at. These guys are on a victimhood tour, and it's not over. You're going to see them on mainstream media. You're going to see mainstream media running cover for them. Like this interview, okay, we're going to watch the video that Maggie Goodlander did, okay, playing the victim, and claiming that Trump threatened her because she stated the law, all right? Trump simply, again, I will say it, Trump simply stated the legal punishment for sedition. And then you're going to hear her on CNN as well. So, guys, people with common sense know what's going on. So just let me know in the chat what your thoughts are, because I love your opinions.
About me. Threats don't deter me. I will never give up the ship. I love our country.
See that phrase?
And I love our Constitution. That's why I've sworn an oath to protect and defend it many times throughout my life. As an intelligence officer in the United States Navy Reserve.
The CIA. The CIA.
And today as New Hampshire's Congresswoman. In America today, our service members need to know that we've got their back as they honor that sacred oath and as they uphold the basic obligation under federal law to follow lawful orders and lawful orders only. It is sad, telling, and downright dangerous that simply stating what our law says caused the President of the United States, our Commander-in-Chief, to threaten violence against me today.
It is hilarious that the president simply stating the consequences of sedition sent you guys down a rabbit hole of meltdowns and victimhood framing and all that. It's hilarious.
That's not who we are as Americans.
Uh-huh.
Our history teaches us that both fear and courage can be contagious. So know this, threats do not deter me. I will never give up the ship.
Remember that framing, I will never give up the ship. This is, they have the same script writer. All of this is orchestrated from within the Democrat Party. These people didn't just say, look, let a couple of us make this video. We're friends, let's just do this. And they say, yeah, let's do this. This is framed by the Democrat Party to essentially make President Trump look bad. I think they were anticipating his response. Now, here she is on CNN.
I thought that simply and clearly stating federal law would ever cause the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief, to threaten violence against me and members of Congress. Look, our message is clear to our service members, and I think it's a really important one in this moment. Our laws are clear. We all take an oath to the same Constitution. And it is our responsibility as the ones who write the laws to be clear about what they say. The Uniform Code of Military Justice is crystal clear on this point. It is the obligation of every service member to obey lawful orders and lawful orders only. And that's our simple and clear message, and it's an important one because there are legitimate concerns that this president is going to issue and has issued unlawful orders to American troops who are operating on American soil.
Now, here's the video that breaks down their little messaging to the armed forces. And you listen to how each segment is broken down and what they did and said. And look, it's crystal clear to anyone who's honest, has two eyes and a brain. If you're being partisan and you're like trying to look at it from the perspective of we want our side to win, then you guys don't understand the consequences of this kind of behavior. If you let this continue, you will not have a country soon. You will not. If you encourage your armed forces to disregard the orders of the commander-in-chief, my goodness, it is a show of weakness that you will pay for in the years to come.
All right, we're going to go through that video that the 6 Democratic lawmakers released because the left is currently framing it as, well, all they were saying is that the military should refuse unlawful orders. Is that what they were saying, though?
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
and intelligence community professionals
against American citizens.
That was a direct accusation suggesting that this administration is currently illegally deploying the military against our citizens.
like us. You all swore an oath
To protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
but from right here at home.
Doubling down that this administration is a threat to our Constitution, which in itself is not illegal to say. But the trouble comes with the context that they are currently creating and what they are about to say next.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law or our Constitution.
This phrase is true in isolation, but given the context that you have already created, you are suggesting a mutiny.
And know that we have your back.
Because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws,
Our Constitution,
and who we are as Americans.
Now that sure felt like a call to action to me. We need you to do this, and don't worry, we've got your back. Now, do I think we should be calling for executions? No. No, I do not. But sedition and a heavily implied call for mutiny should be taken seriously.
All right, now I'm going to jump into the chat. All right, thank you for sending in your messages in the chat. Now, if you haven't sent your message in the chat and you've been following the live stream, please post your questions, your observations, your comments in the chat. I will read them all. We will also be taking time to look at the comment section. There are a few comments that came in, and we're going to be reading them. So first up is Janet. So Janet is oops, sorry. it's sorry about that. So Janet says the Democrats, emphasis on rats, and their mouthpiece media are all over this. All right. Now, it's good that you're noticing it, and it's good that you're paying attention to what's going on. I believe that eventually more people are going to wake up. They're going to wake up to what's going on, and they're going to be able to speak up to say, okay, I've had enough. It's like when people woke up to the actual violence and hatred that exists on the left after Charlie Kirk was murdered. Okay, people are going to wake up, and our job is to, essentially have conversations that helps people understand what's going on. That's why I'm here, and essentially, the reason why I try to tone down the outrage and anything else that may be polarizing in the way I present these stories is that I want us to be able to have conversations that are real and honest. And even if we disagree, we should be able to engage and have that conversation. Now, I see a comment coming in from Kick. Now, I see you on Kick, but I need you to actually contribute to the story, all right? I see you too, and I'm saying hi back, but I need you to contribute to the story. So if the comment isn't tied to the story, then I'm not going to respond to it on the screen, okay? So I just need you guys to know that, so you don't feel like I'm ignoring you. This is live. I'm right here. You can send me a message, but it has to be tied to the story that we're covering. All right. Janet also says the right and conservatives aren't making a big deal out of it because they understand how duplicitous it is, but they are making it all about Trump's response now. And I'm referring to the Democrats. They're making it all about Trump's response by stating this kind of behavior is seditious, and the punishment is usually this. They are latching onto that conversation, and they're trying to make it look like Trump, look, we were right all along. He's authoritarian. He wants to murder us. Look, it is not murder when somebody is found guilty of a crime where the consequences or the punishment on the books is execution. It's not murder. It's not murder when someone goes out there and commits a crime that they should know would wind. For example, if someone goes out and commits murder and they are in the state of Florida, they know that the statutes on the state's books are murder is punishable by death. I think they recently held an execution recently, so Florida still holds on to the death penalty. So you can't call it murder when the state is fulfilling the punishments that are allocated to certain crimes. All right. Now keep your comments coming. Now let's go to the comment section real quick. Okay, we're going to try to keep this stream under an hour. Let's go to the comment section. Now, a comment came in concerning last night's live stream on how CNN humiliated Jasmine Crockett. All right, and I'm sorry, my mouse is betraying me. All right, so my mouse just committed sedition. Okay, Will Wirth, marking the bookmark at the 25-minute mark, says the Dems claim they don't have to say what orders are illegal because service members are smart enough to know, yet they don't think they are smart enough to know they don't have to follow such orders. When I went into the Air Force in 1990, we were told we don't have to follow illegal orders, but we have to be sure, we have to be damn sure they are illegal or we could be court-martialed. All right, so already, like this is an ex-military personnel speaking, and I'm glad that he spoke into this. I'm going to give it a like and a heart and tell him that we responded to his comment on this live stream. So it's amazing that they are depending. The Democrats depend on the stupidity of the audience. If you show ignorance and a degree of stupidity, you are fair game for them. So they say these things knowing that not everyone would do their own research. Not everyone would push back on the narratives that they're selling. They're counting on it. So that's why, you have to do your own research. You have to be willing to engage in conversations and exchange ideas and not just be locked into a thought pattern that is encouraged by TDSBC. Okay. A response to this comment now, a comment on Democrats obliterated as more Epstein evidence appears. That live stream, we reacted to his comments, all right, yesterday. He said that Democrats will not lose one vote from their brainwashed party members, and I assume he watched my response to his comments in the live stream, and then he writes a follow-up, and I felt like the follow-up was important because the impression that many liberals have of conservatives is that conservatives are rabid, frothing at the mouth haters of liberal or liberals, and that they are like them. We are not the same. We're willing to engage in conversations without hating people. And here he says, as a follow-up, he says, I took no joy in saying that. It is very unfortunate that our society is so polarized. This sentiment, you find it a lot in conservatives everywhere. Conservatives don't want division or polarization. But conservatives are accused of being polarizing simply because they won't go along with insanity. It's like with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk stated the obvious. All right, men shouldn't be playing in women's sports. Oh, that's polarizing. How is it polarizing to state something that's common sense? All right, I have kids. I have 2 boys and a girl. All right, the girl provokes her elder brother. Her elder brother shoves her or pushes her or hits her. And then we have to give him a lecture on, look, you are stronger. All right, you can't be hitting, the only girl in the house. And then, do you know what? The younger one, who is 3 years old, she's 9, he's 3, hits her and she starts crying. A 3-year-old boy is strong enough to create pain, enough for a 9-year-old girl to cry. That is the difference between men and women. But to leftists or to liberals, it's polarizing. And that's really sad to see. All right. Let's take this one. Okay. From home in MT, all right, responding to the same video. Okay, a different live stream. Democrats suffer a devastating setback. Says this, if those files contained incriminating evidence about DJT, the Biden administration would have released it years ago. I've said this many times, and it's just common sense. If anyone is really honest about this whole Epstein situation, you will know that the Democrats are full of it. They basically are depending on either a partisan audience who will support their policies and statements no matter what, or they are depending on the stupidity of the audience to not know the difference between when they are being lied to or when the truth is being shared. Okay, so it's one of the two. Okay. If there was incriminating info against Donald J. Trump, Biden would have released it years ago. I agree. All right, guys, we're going to do one more thing. All right. I'm going to read the rest of these comments. There's a comment here that is really a mouthful. All right. And I don't think it's going to serve us for me to rush through it. I'm going to read it tonight during tonight's live stream. All right. So we usually go live at 12 noon and 9 p.m. Eastern time. And tonight we're going to go live again at 9 p.m. Eastern. I hope you will join us. and I'm going to read this this chat and others, sorry, this comment and respond to it. So please join me for that segment tonight. Now, I'm waiting for more comments in the chat. If we don't have any more comments in the chat, we're going to move on to just do one more set. Okay, we're almost at the hour mark. I have more videos to show, and let's just go through them, and then we will see how much we can take. Okay, it's essentially more of the same. All right, it's more of the same. It is people. It is people saying the obvious about this entire situation. So let's have a listen.
Saying that a few months ago, Republicans were saying Democrats were doing, except that now the president's doing it and it's okay?
I go back to the video. Like, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now if it wasn't for a ridiculous video that was put out by Democrats telling people in uniform to defy the President of the United States of America.
But that's not.
So what they opened up with is, we're talking about toning down the rhetoric, and President Trump is doing exactly what they claim the Democrats are doing. So what they do is they skip over the provocation that the Democrats laid out and then go after the reaction. They're like, oh, look at what he's saying. But you didn't talk about the fact that there was a video that triggered that statement, and that's what he's trying to point out.
That's a fact. I was real quiet for a long time. That was like a long time for me. So let me say point two here.
We just laid out that the video says you should not follow illegal orders. Do you think that members of the military should follow illegal orders?
I think it's pretty clear that this was an obvious video that was put out without any issue around it, saying if you don't like what the president's doing,
that's literally
you don't
not
have
what
to.
It literally.
I'm glad that we went through the video twice, essentially, so you can see the hypocrisy of the anchor, Abby Phillips, and the leftist talking heads around the table. As soon as you point out common sense, it's almost like the more we scream, you know, the easier it is for us to win the argument, because the louder our volumes are, it shows that we know what we're talking about. That is the leftist strategy. Don't fall for it.
Our military is not pawns. We're not in some game. This is deeply personal to me. This is the story of my platoon that got stuck. I mean, we got stuck in the middle of a political game just like this. Almost got us killed, thrown in the brig, facing charges. At one point, the U.S. military considered turning us over, U.S. soldiers, over to the Iraqi court system so they could prosecute us where we'd likely be hung ourselves. Oh, you didn't hear about this story. Hold my beer. It's in this book. This is the story of how stupid political clickbait videos like Slotkin's have real consequences. You remember this guy from the movie American Sniper? This guy right here that was going around drilling holes in children's faces? In 2009, my platoon caught that guy in real life, the butcher of Fallujah. He was also the man responsible for hanging 4 American contractors, one of which was a SEAL brother of mine, whose body was lit on fire, dangling from a bridge by his neck. My team caught that guy. We were authorized to use lethal force, and we exercised restraint to bring him back alive for the betterment of the mission, because we were one part, and we did it at great risk to ourselves. And because of orders, so he could be questioned by the CIA and save more lives. Imagine if we had violated that order. After all, we knew he killed one of our own, and he had a gun when we apprehended him. So honestly, like, Democrats, don't ever lecture me and my people on restraint and decorum. And when we brought him back, the same people who sent us on that mission, they turned around and court-martialed us for abusing him in custody, which we clearly did not do, which was proven by our full acquittals almost immediately in a courtroom, all because politicians wanted to have the talking point that they stood with the Iraqi people over their own soldiers. And the generals, whose promotions need to be approved by the Senate, people by like Mark Kelly and Alyssa Slotkin, they bent the knee and they sacrificed me and my team at the altar of their political correctness.
Look at that.
And you know what it did? It made every soldier in Iraq and Afghanistan second guess everything.
Wow.
Hesitate to prosecute that IED. How many people did that kill? Apprehending terrorists, or even pulling the trigger when they needed to. hesitated for their own safety in a courtroom that might not come. Stuff like this gets people killed. It creates stupid rules of engagement, some of which killed my friends personally, because they want to play political grandstand games with no intention of ever backing the soldier up when he does the bidding that they subtly encouraged. This is why people hate politicians. They pop off like there's some moral authority without listing a single specific thing that Trump has done illegally.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of us are freaking out over. Well, like, these guys do these things that have real consequences. Now, because you live in a country where you've not seen a coup before, you play around with these things as if it's like they think that they're playing around with a toy grenade, and they're just tossing it and laughing until it blows up. And then guess what? They look for someone to blame, and of course they would want to blame President Trump because the military failed under your watch. But they're the ones that laid the foundation for that failure by these kinds of publicity stunts. All right, these are real world consequences of the dishonesty and the insanity that Democrats have been playing for years. They play these games for years, and Republicans too. Republicans also play these games because when you have a motion to censor someone who colluded with a pedophile and try to get him and then essentially try to use or colluded with him to try to impeach a sitting president, and today all the Democrats are backing her up, and the Republicans who were supposed to add their voice or their vote to the censure made a deal in the background to not engage or to not support the censure of Stacey Plaskett. This is insanity. All right, we call it out on both sides, but when you see it more on one side, it's like, what are these people doing? Now let's look at this video by Matt Taibbi. All right, so Matt Taibbi essentially just called out the Dems and they're called to disobey Trump. And he says it reminds him of the beginnings of Russiagate. Let's watch.
It's such blatant, bad, overwrought propaganda. And this whole idea of you can refuse to obey illegal orders, well, that's always been true. And we've had a gazillion illegalities in government that the Democrats didn't say a word about for decades. So why now? And also just this general notion of encouraging an uprising.
It's called hypocrisy. All right. The Democrats engage in illegalities regularly. And then when they're called out on it, they play the victim and accuse the Republicans or conservatives or MAGA of racial targeting, like we saw with the representative who was, has been indicted for essentially stealing $5 million worth of federal funds, and she comes up to say that it's racial profiling, that is racism, that is because she's black. And as someone who is black, I feel insulted by that. I don't know why clowns are allowed to represent us. And the black community is complicit. They are complicit. All right. You have a Jasmine Crockett. We covered her story yesterday. I just discovered last night while I was fact-checking myself that her father is a reverend. All right. And I'm like, what on earth is going on here? Okay. Is that how was she raised? Okay. Anywho, let's keep going.
Essentially, I don't know. I mean, there are so many things about modern politics that just make you shake your head and say, we're just in this new territory. I don't even know how to think about it, honestly. Like, is that that's beyond insubordinate or unhelpful. It reminds me again of the beginning of Russiagate, right? When there were all these leaks about encouraging people not to share intelligence with the United States. That made Trump look bad, but it also made the United States look weak and vulnerable, and sent a signal that the country was in schism and maybe the government was not stable. Is that what they're trying to project? I mean, Is that right? I don't think so.
The Democrats hate it when the United States exudes strength. I've seen several Democrats who are like showing concern that the United States is showing strength, especially with the recent 250th anniversary celebration of the U.S. military. There were a couple of videos out there saying, why are we showing so much strength? It's creating a separation between us and our allies. They will fear us because of our strength. And it's like, are you insane? What clown world are you living in? The moment you show weakness, people will come and take your stuff. That's the way the world works. The only reason why people are behaving themselves in the world is because of the strength of the United States. People don't realize that. It is the single strength of the United States, the knowledge that the United States has the capability of erasing your country from the map, that gets some people to just simply behave themselves. They're not planning to invade neighboring countries. They know that if they try anything like that, they will get erased. They know it. But the US, they exert this strength with lots of restraint. So whenever, the Democrats act out like they always do, I know that the reason why they're doing it is because they hate America. They hate America. Now let's hear finally from Speaker Johnson, because it's always good to, you heard a bunch of senators and reps who essentially did something they shouldn't have been doing, mewling and crying and playing the victim. Let's hear from Speaker Johnson. I don't have any confidence, and I'm being very honest, I don't have any confidence in the Republicans in Senate. The only two that I know will speak up are John Kennedy and what's his name, the rep from Tennessee. His name escapes me. Those are the two guys that have been speaking up and talking about stuff, and the rest of them are just they're just acting like bureaucrats. Right now, am I asking for them to be radical? No, but they should grow a spine. All right, they should grow a spine. If anybody is doing what they shouldn't be doing on their side, like the people who refuse to vote for the censorship of Miss Plaskett, they should be called out, and honestly, they should figure it out internally. I'm not going to say anything beyond that. So here's Speaker Johnson.
What I read was he was defining the crime of sedition. Okay, I don't. That is a.
Which is what he did.
But obviously, attorneys have to parse the language and determine all that. What I'm saying, what I will say unequivocally, that was a wildly inappropriate thing for so-called leaders in Congress to do, to encourage young troops to disobey orders. I mean, think of what the threat that is to our national security and what it means to our institutions. We have got to raise the bar in Congress. This is out of control and is wildly inappropriate. And for a senator like Mark Kelly or any member of Congress in the House or Senate to be engaging in that kind of talk is to me just so beyond the pale.
All right. So we've heard from the Republican House Speaker of the House, and like I said, not excited, not holding my breath, but it is what it is. All right, guys. Thank you for leaving your comments. I see some comments didn't hit the platform here. Canary King is accusing me of not being black. All right. He says I'm not black enough. Okay. I don't know if he means Joe Biden's if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Or he means something. He says I'm Nigerian. I'm Nigerian, yeah. Okay. He says I'm not black. All right, guys, thank you so much. It's over the hour mark. I appreciate you for joining. Appleman 212134, who sent a chat from Kick. I acknowledge your chat. I did say you needed to put in something that was related to the story. Thank you, Janet. I'm going to do a roll call. Now, I've seen comments coming in or chats coming in from the backup channel. If you're watching from the backup channel, thank you so much for watching and joining us. Canary King and Janet, thank you for making the comments section lively. I hope you will be back here with me tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be covering other developing stories that have been going on, and I would love to know your thoughts as we go through those stories. If you have suggestions that you would like to make, either about upcoming live streams or other things that may be on your mind, or if you simply want to connect with me, the email to reach me on is on the screen. Please consider sending me an email, connect with me. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing this live stream. Subscribe, hit the bell icon. It turns out that many people who have subscribed to the channel don't hit the bell icon, and so when we go live, they don't get notified. We have over 10,000 people who are subscribed to the channel, but many of them don't get notified. So I assume that they didn't hit the bell icon, I guess. So please hit the bell icon and get notified whenever we go live. We will be back tonight, and I look forward to having you on the show and talking with you. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you for watching and sticking with us to the end. And until next time, God bless you, and I'll see you tonight. Welcome to Headlines and History, live news reactions and your views. We're about to go live soon, so grab your spot and get ready for a sharp, balanced take on today's biggest news stories with a dash of historical insight. Stay tuned. Each week, we tackle the headlines that matter: politics, economics, global events with a balanced lens. We'll react live, tie today's stories to historical moments, and spotlight your views in the chat. From trade talks echoing the 1990s to crises recalling 2008, we're here to unpack it all. Your voice drives the show. Share your thoughts or historical parallels in the live chat, and we'll dive into the best ones. It's news, context, and community all in 1 hour. We're moments away from launching Headlines and History. Stick around for live reactions, historical nuggets, and your chance to chime in. Hit the notification bell, prep your comments, and let's make sense of the news together. See you soon.